Welcome to the Unsexy Businessmen podcast, where we talk about everything unsexy businesses and entrepreneurship. I am Alex Skinner, and with me, as always, we're into episode 4 now, so I can say that, is my brother Aaron. Today, we're going to be chatting about something that is near and dear to our hearts, our friends and family. More importantly, how to deal with people who are on the outside looking in. We are going to do a podcast where we talk about business partners and working with your family, having them as employees, et cetera, et cetera. But today is primarily going to be about how to deal with the different types of people that are outside looking in. So I've listed it out into 5 different categories. I'm sure Aaron will probably add to this. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each category type and then how you like their characteristics and how you deal with them. So I'm going to deal with our favorite one probably, or maybe our second favorite one. At least it's my second favorite one. The person who doesn't care. The person who doesn't ask about your business. The person who is aloof to all things going on in your life and just talks to you about fantasy football, talks about going on trips with you, talks about trips you have gone on. Just your very, very standard friend who is living a very standard life. Aaron, do you like this type of family or friend?
That just sticks to kind of their lane and don't get into like the business aspect or kind of what's going on in your life. I think there's a place for friends like this where maybe you want to be able to decompress and not have to talk shop about anything. But in all honesty, I'd say most of my friends are interested in some capacity on what's going on with business and things like that. But it's I don't know. I think I think there's a time and a place for each type of friend or type of family member. I do find it interesting that, and maybe we're going to get into this later, the people who tend not to ask you about it are the ones that don't want to know if you're doing well. Because I think a lot of people don't want to hear about the successes or wins in your life because it doesn't make them feel better. I was always kind of the opposite. I was always interested in people that were doing really well and then what they were doing to do well financially. And so for me, I was more of a curious, like I had a buddy who's he had a moving company and it started really small. It's based out of Utah. And I remember running into him and just like asking him what he was doing, like how's the business going? How are you expanding? What are your plans? What are this and this and this? Like I was always just interested, and maybe that's more of like an entrepreneurial mindset or something like that.
I think so.
But yeah, I think that's why I'm always curious of what people, and it's never like, I never asked them, well, how much money are you making? Like, what's this? It was more of an aspect of like, oh, you're growing. This is awesome. And then he would then open up and tell me, yeah, I'm getting a few more vans. I'm thinking about starting to do it. Instead of local moves, I'm going to be doing national moves. And this is kind of the, my game plan of what I'm doing. And so at the time I had Honestly Clean. So we would just kind of talk shop about that. But yeah, I think, but I have friends who don't care at all what I'm doing, what I'm up to. And, that's fine.
I mean, that don't care about what you're doing business-wise, right?
Correct.
Is what you mean?
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Like,
If they didn't care about me
it sounds
at
like
all,
your friends are bad. sounds like you should find new friends.
They wouldn't be my friends. No, right. I'm more talking about people that have zero interest in my business or businesses and how they're doing. And that's, like I said, it's fine too. I never try and push it, or like, I'm not the kind of person who's going to like start bragging about how sales are doing out of nowhere. But if somebody asks me, even if they ask me directly, I'm still pretty, what's the word? Not aloof. I don't tell them exactly how much money we're making, just because I don't know, seems bad taste.
And when I'm talking about the friend who doesn't care, what I would say is like, I think I have a lot of friends that like ask, like, yeah, so how, like, because they care about your life, right? So they're like,
sure,
how are things going? But it's not from a I'm going to learn something about this. I am like genuinely interested in how much money you're making, how successful you are, etc. It's more of just it's a small talk thing. So I would include like small
Right.
talkers. I don't know if you ran into those types where it's just like, so how's the business?
Yeah.
You go, it's going good. They're like, okay, cool. How's the kids? Like you just like
Yes.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
checklist of
Oh yeah.
things.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
but that is more of, they can ask about it, but what I mean don't care, I just mean like, hey, like this isn't why I became a friend anyways.
Right. Right. Oh, or they just like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Like, how's business going? It's going really good. Like, all right,
All right,
anyway. And they
sweet.
just go on to the next thing, which is, if someone doesn't want to talk about it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. I mean, and I think everyone for the most part just cares about themselves and to a certain degree. And so I don't think it's unnatural for someone to just be nice to ask, hey, how's business going? It's going good, or it's going fine. All right, well, I want to talk about myself. I think it's kind of a natural thing. And I like talking to people about other things too. So it doesn't just have to be about my business.
And the one that you so number one, people who don't care. And then the number
Mhm.
2 one that I have are people who want free stuff, either advice or services. Do you like these people more than the people who don't care?
No, because I'm not friends with any of these people. Yeah, because you can read, dude. Luckily, I have great friends. Everyone thinks they have great friends. I do have great friends. It was super rare that a friend wouldn't pay full price for our services. And in fact, when someone like when
Or
we were doing
ask.
carpet cleaning, or ask,
Nice.
like so they'd need carpet cleaning done. I have a bunch of friends that I've done carpet cleaning for, and I can only think of friends and family. I can only think of one person that asked for a deal. The rest of them specifically said, well, hey, how much this is what I got to get cleaned. How much does it cost? And they would specifically say, don't give me a good deal. Just give me what the normal price is. Because I think a lot of, at least if they're good friends, they understand this is how you're paying for your mortgage. This is how you're buying food for your kids. And them asking for some really good deal takes away from that. And so I think good friends don't try and take advantage of other friends. And so that's, like I said, I think I've only had one person in my life that asked specifically for, if we're just talking about friends and family, like customers would do it all the time because they don't care about you.
Well, I would actually be
And that's
curious, like
fine.
any acquaintances? Like I'm like, actually, I feel like I get it a lot from like acquaintances, for like even like from friends asking for free marketing advice, free
Oh, if we're just
like
talking about advice.
sorry. So we're talking about both things. So we're talking about people who want
Sure.
deals, like free marketing advice, and then also like, hey, how do you set up my Google? Can you set up my Google business profile? I don't know how to do it. I get a lot of people who are like, ooh, your prices are expensive. Is there any way it could be like, I know that your minimums are this. Could you work with me for this? And my advice on anyone that's looking for deals. So if you have the people like, hey, can I get this? Can I get this? Can I get this? Can I get this? Ironically enough, we just ran like a friends and family discount deal because so many people ask us about business advice. And so now we're just like, all right, cool. Like we've made it at a accessible price point for anyone that wants to answer these questions. And moving forward, anyone who has questions, $17 workbook and the course is available for you. But going back to, like, I can think of specifically one of our clients, we gave them a really good deal, people that we knew, because they were people that we knew. It went really poorly with one of the business partners. The person we liked was chill. The person we didn't like was obviously crazy. So we had to fire them. Like, all right, we've done X dollars worth of work for you. You are fired. And then the other person asked for a little bit of help later on. I did that. And then at like I think it was like a deal or free. I don't even remember. I was just like trying to be a homie. Never be a homie. Never be a homie. And then they went and asked other people how much they were going to charge. And they're like, oh my gosh, you guys were 1/3, 1/4 of the price of like our other friends who are doing this. So my advice, never give deals. Never ever give deals. You're going to set a bad precedent and you're just going to get, the expectations are not going to be met on both sides because you're going to be thinking, I'm doing this for less. And they're going to be thinking, I want the let's say your package is like $40,000 and you discount it to 10, they still expect the $40,000 results.
Yeah, that's funny. I was more in the mindset of just like all the cleaning services that we offered, but I think I know which one. You might have multiple of these, but
I have a lot of these. I have a lot of
yes, the ones that I am very familiar with in the digital marketing space. I mean, it's funny because I don't know if you're referring to the one that I'm thinking of, but it was literally the same thing where, I had someone that brought over, they wanted it done at a cheap rate and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And then they eventually find out that even though our original rate was a good deal and
an
the
amazing.
service we were,
Now I know who you're talking about. An amazing deal.
yes,
An
yes.
amazing deal.
And the service we were providing was like top level. And they went out, tried to find someone to do something similar, only to find out it cost 3 or 4 times as much. My thing, so what I started doing with friends and family, and luckily this ended up not, I didn't have to do this because friends and family didn't really try and take advantage of my services. What I would just do is like, you have 10% off. Like, and if you want to just like bake an extra 10% into your normal cost when you're talking to friends and family, you can do that too. But that's what I would say is like, yeah, we have, all right, and what kind of deal can we are family, or I'm your friend for a long time. What kind of deal could you? Is like, hey, we have a 10% off family and friends discount and I can apply that to this. But again, I always go back to, if they're really your friends or family members, they shouldn't be trying to get a deal out of you. This is how, not only are you paying for like your mortgage and all your stuff, but you got to pay your employees. Like, it's taking away money that could go towards bonuses or whatever it is. But and I guess it's funny because now, being a business owner for so long, I tend to never try and negotiate with anything, because what people don't understand too is you are going, like, kind of like you said, Alex, the price that you negotiate down to is the level that you're actually going to get. I mean, this might be different with, if you're buying a car or something like that. But if we're talking service wise, if I had a customer that like negotiated me down to a lower price for whatever reason, I agreed to it, I was always like, I am going to, if they, let's say it was $400 for a carpet cleaning and they somehow got me down to 300, it would just be, and this might sound horrible, it was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, well, this is going to be a $300 job. Like, it's either we're going to do it faster or we're going to do something. We have to make up that lost cost somewhere. And so that's what you got to really think about too, when you're, especially with any sort of service-based businesses. The more that you negotiate down, the less likely you're going to get the type of service that you were wanting originally.
Yeah. And I think what I do is I'm the same as you. It's, if a price is too high for me, I just don't do it. It's not like, hey, I want
Yes.
a lower deal. It's like, I will go find someone else for a lower deal, 100%. And
Right.
that's because I think that I have avoided this quite a bit. I've made mistakes with it. I've just seen this with other people who like run businesses where they give the friends and family discount and then they get so frustrated and angry at those friends and family. And so in order for me to not be angry with those people, I've just avoided it as much as possible. Just like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that because I don't want to be the person who's like, I can't believe that they don't understand. Like, I'm already cutting them a deal, because they will never see it as a deal. It will always be really expensive to them. They think they should get it first. I'm speaking in generalities here. Those types of
Sure.
people will always think that they should get this for less, even if you bring that number down. My
Right.
feelings on it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Personality type number 3, and this has sub personalities in it. Wants to know how much money you make to do one of two things: compare against you, I'm doing better, you're doing better, or be happy for you and understand what is possible for them. So it's more like them trying to better themselves versus the people who better themselves from like all right, well, maybe if I start doing this, I can learn from him, et cetera, as opposed to just like, you're just a benchmark. I don't want any advice from you. I don't want you to tell me how to do. I just want to know I'm doing better than you. Would you add any other to the category of how much do you make person?
No, I think that's right. What's the saying? Comparison is the thief of joy, or something like that. Yeah, I think there are people. These are probably not close. I think you kind of eventually I think hopefully
Distance
most
yourself from
people
people.
start distancing yourself from people who you can tell they want to know how well you're doing so they can feel better about themselves or whatever it is. Yeah, I definitely don't have friends now that are like that. I would say for the most part, the friends that are interested in how we're doing, and again, they don't ask like, "Hey, how much money you making?" But they know. And for the most part, sometimes they try to expand on that. They're like, hey, well, I want to start a business or I want to do this, or what did you do in this situation? And this is kind of why we started Unsexy Businessmen anyways, right, Alex? Because we were getting lots of questions about how to start a business and the steps that go in, like each step that goes into it. And I had that conversation so many times, like, we just need to start a business where we just show people how to do it, set it at a very reasonable price. We're not charging $1,000 to teach people how to do this, even though, if someone wants to set up an LLC and they pay an accountant or a lawyer to do it for them, it's going to cost them $500 or $1,000. I mean, we have all the LLC videos free on YouTube where we just walk people through their state of exactly how to do it. But sorry, got off on a tangent. Yeah, I would say I have distanced myself from those people that want to just do the comparing game, because I don't do it either. Like, I'm genuinely, I mean, I have a friend. I mean, that's a very loose term. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but is very, very successful in the social media game where he has millions of followers. He makes millions of dollars. He does really well. And at no point was I ever like, you know what, F that guy for being really successful. He wasn't even that good of a guy or whatever. I'm like, good for him. Like, he's doing way better than I am. And I would love to learn from him, but he's a really busy dude. And I'm not the kind of person who's going to try and insert myself to try and take advantage of our friendship that we had in the past. But yeah, I don't know. I would say the advice part about this is, if you have friends that like to play that comparison game and you can kind of get a sense of that, I would just start distancing yourself from those types of people, because it's not going to help you in any way, unless you have this relationship where you're both just competitive and you want to be able to, not do it maliciously, but like, hey, that's a motivating thing. Like, Dave is doing really, really good with his business. I would like to get to that level. And then, asking the right questions and doing that kind of thing. But it's never like, I want to do better than Dave, so Dave could know I'm doing better than him. It's more, it should always just be for yourself and for your family.
It definitely depends on your personality type too, because I think some people are going to be more like apt to handle people like that. I just am not. I don't have that personality type. My personality type is, this is draining. Like, it's draining
Mm-hmm.
having conversation every single time you and I talk. It's, how much money are you making? How much money am I making? And I, I believe in transparency, like, to a point.
Mm-hmm.
But when it is the topic of every conversation, how much money, how much money, how much money, you start to understand that this friendship probably isn't going anywhere. So I agree with Aaron. It's just, for me, it's, I just distance myself from those people, which is hard because I'm a little bit, oh, you're like the coolest character in Tombstone. I'm a little bit like Doc Holliday, where there's that famous scene in Tombstone where says, man, why do you do all this stuff for Wyatt? He's like, and he goes, because Wyatt Earp is my friend. Hell, I got a lot of friends. I don't. So it's a little bit hard for me. Like, I don't have a ton of close friends. I have a few.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have enough to keep me interested. So when those relationships have to be severed, it's like, all right, well, now there's one less person who I am spending time with, and one less person who my kid's going to be able to spend time with their kids as frequently, because you guys can have a play date, but I don't really want to do like the, hey, let's all get together as a family thing.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
And then I have number 4 personality type. This is in any particular order. Hopes you fail and will never help you to your goals. Have you ever dealt with these people?
Oh yeah, dude. When I left my job at the call center, I would say And this wasn't even like friends. This was like coworkers. And you'll deal with this when you're starting a business. Coworkers, no one wants, sorry, no one is way too big of a generality. Most people that you're working with don't want to see someone escape. So escape the job that they hate as well, become successful. It's the misery loves company. And this happened. Like, I just remember running into the dude. It was my manager, and I ran into him. And in the first, we were helping we had a friend, similar friend, and when I saw him, he was just like, "Oh, how's that little cleaning business of yours doing?" I'll never forget just how he like condescendingly said it to me. I was like, "It's going great," even though I was doing really, really good. I was like, it's going good. I wasn't like, well, guess what? We're poised to make $1 million this year. It was just like, we're doing really good. Just the fact that I knew I was doing better and he could think whatever he wanted, I didn't care. But you'll see that you have those people that in the back of their mind that don't want to see you succeed because, again, misery loves company. They kind of want you to fail so you can go back and you can all be miserable talking about how much you hate your job. I just use that as motivation, where in the beginning of building my business, when I had those doubts of like, I don't know if it's going to work. Should I just go back to my job? I was always like, fuck that. There's no way I'm going to go back there and let all these people know that I'm a failure and I had to go back. And then they could be like, see, that cleaning idea, that was really stupid. I can't believe you thought that was going to work. And so kind of use that as motivation. There's thousands of different types of motivations you can use. And the more you can have, the more it's going to keep you focused on your goals and achieving them. And maybe kind of motivate you to do things that you don't really want to do. Like, I hated sales. Like, I hated walking into businesses and pitching my janitorial services. I hated it in the beginning, but I did it because I was willing to do whatever I had to do in order not to fail and go back to that job.
Yeah. I don't know if I've had this as explicitly. Maybe it's because I'm so early in entrepreneurship. Like, I've been doing this for 2.5 years now. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe just people haven't. Also, I think a lot of people who want me to fail probably have already distanced themselves from me anyways. And honestly, there's
Sure.
probably aren't that many people who really care. Like, if I'm being honest, like, there's probably a lot of people who are just like focused on their lives. So I haven't had to deal with this as much. I just have to deal with when I ask people things, uh, I have the question with a lot of people. I'm like, why have you never, like, you know what I do? You know that I am good at it. Why have you never asked to see if my business can help you do the stuff that you're doing? And maybe there's a lot of reasons to that. And there's only one person that I've ever talked to about that. And after I said it, he's like, I just never think about it. And then you bringing it up to me has now made like, oh, here's this person that I know that could probably benefit from working with you. And then that ended up being good. We vetted the agency that was doing work for them and they fired that agency because that agency was like a normal agency, cared only about making as much money off of people as possible and not about the results that impact her bottom line. Because at the end of the day, it was a small business. So I often wonder after having something like that happen, how many other people I could be helping, but people just maybe it's on me that I need to go and talk to them. So Aaron obviously had a very explicit thing where the guy said like that little carpet cleaning business. I deal with the unknown. And so my advice on like the unknown thing is you just like have to ask about it. So if you think that people like hope you fail and don't want to help you achieve your goals, ask them. Like don't say it like that. Just be like, hey, you know what I do? Is there anything like that I can do to like help somebody that you know? And it's not me trying to make money. It's just if you're good at what you do, go do what you do well for somebody.
And I think you're right. That's actually a really good point of the people got their lives that are happening. And obviously your business is going to be the most important thing to you while you're building it. And no one's thinking about it. I think about that Michael Jordan documentary where someone would have this like off the cuff comment and Michael Jordan would be like, and I took offense to that. The person that had the off the cuff comment probably didn't even think about it, just said something or did something and wasn't like, oh, I'm going to really stick it to Michael Jordan or whatever. But Michael Jordan was like, this guy has it out for me, and I'm going to do, A, B, and C to show them he was wrong. And it's kind of similar with that, where you start playing these mind games. You're like, oh, John from work, he hopes I fail, or my friend hopes I fail. But in all reality, most people are not thinking about you, and you don't it's kind of a waste of time to worry about what people are thinking, unless you're using it as motivation, in your mind, like Michael Jordan did, where he's like, that I took offense to that, and then I won 6 championships. If you use it as motivation to get better at what you're doing, then that's fine, but just don't let it bog you down mentally that some person may or may not hope you fail, because that can get draining really fast.
Yeah, just just focus on your thing. Focus on being an entrepreneur.
Do you?
Yeah, which
Just
leads
do you.
into friend type 5, which Aaron already touched on a little bit, so I don't know if we need to talk about it too much, but entrepreneur friends. This is probably one of my favorite type of friends, where you can talk about all the different things that you're working on, things that have been successful, things that haven't been successful. The only thing that I ever struggle with on this is it has to be people that you trust and who are honest, because there are people who fall into this friend category for me where I'm like, can I see the QuickBooks? Like, it's just like, it sounds too good to be true. Like, it's like, I'm sharing things that go bad as well as the things that go well. It seems like only positive things ever happen with you, and then their business shuts down. So I'm just like, okay. Like, these are some of my favorite people to talk to. And I'd say for the most part, the people who are honest, like, I've learned a lot from, especially in how to avoid like bad clients specifically, and how to deal with like customer service. And then honestly, like Dwayne, who we hope to get on a podcast here, shout out Dwayne, or somebody like Dwayne, who's like, he knows logistics, he knows selling products, he knows packaging, warehousing, et cetera, et cetera. I don't. Being able to learn those things for like new ventures that I want to do is really awesome to have, similar to the example that you had with your friend who started like the trucking business.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. I think that's one of the I mean, it's cool because as an entrepreneur, there's just things that other people aren't going to really understand. I mean, dealing with employees, dealing with crazy customers. And then, like you said, it opens up a bunch of different opportunities to businesses that you might not have got into previously. Like, oh, that's kind of cool. Not that I'm not going to go start a trucking company and like, compete with my friend. But if there was an opportunity for, my other buddy who's like in the hotel space, like, oh, okay, well, maybe that's something that I can get into, or there can be some I'll say cross
Synergy.
pollination, synergy. Thank you. I can never remember synergy, where you guys can help each other out in some capacity, which is really nice. Um, but yeah, it it's just fun. It's probably the same thing with, well, probably anything. I was just thinking of like people in the military who it's hard for them to talk to people that have never been in the military to relate to them. And then you have, not that I'm saying entrepreneurs are out, keeping our freedom alive,
Well, I
but
mean,
just
just to
like,
get comments and hate in the comments, I think we are. I think we are. But continue, Aaron. I think we're equal to our military. Thank you for your service.
but like, it's like, there's just, like I said, there are topics and stresses that you have in your day-to-day life where, like, I'll talk to Brian, my accountant, just complain to him about, taxes or whatever it is, where he can kind of lament with me about why taxes suck. You couldn't just talk. And maybe, I think most people don't like taxes, so there's some stuff there. But when you're talking about payroll tax, and you're talking about all the different insurance you have to have, there's things that you can relate to and kind of bitch about, um that's really helpful when it's another entrepreneur, and not even like bitch about, but like learn from the different entrepreneurs. Like, oh, well, this is what I did with my taxes. I was talking to one of my buddies, and he was just like, oh, I have this strategy that I use. Have you talked to your accountant about that? I was like, I've never asked him about that, so I will. And maybe that'll be very beneficial. But there's just so many different aspects of business that you can't talk to someone who just works, I hate saying just, but someone who works a 9 to 5 job, that they just wouldn't understand those types of problems that you have.
Well, once I moved to like the executive level at one of my jobs, that opened my eyes to a brand new level of managing. Like I wasn't running a business, right? But like, oh, there's this expense, this expense, this expense, this expense. And then going and starting your own business where every single expense is your own dollar, or potentially like a loan that you've taken, the bank's dollar, or
Yes.
money that you eventually have to pay back. I almost,
Right.
I almost think we could do a podcast where it's like the things you don't realize until you start like entrepreneuring. Because like one of the things because I'll see people, most of LinkedIn is employees, and this is going to sound mean, and they will have this complaint about a company, and I'll be like, I totally get where the business is coming from, where the business is
Right.
coming from. Like you were complaining about this thing, and I'm so sorry. I cannot empathize with that at all, because you are complaining about something that is a benefit. If you don't like the benefit that they are offering or how they're doing it, you can leave and go start doing your own thing. And then you start to realize how expensive that benefit is. So just something like health insurance. Like people are just like, oh, I can't believe I don't have like better coverage than this. It's like, go get your own. And then you go get your own. You're like, wait, this is thousands of dollars more per year than I was paying at my job. It's like, yes, because it's subsidized by your employer because they have other people. So like, it's almost like you getting a bulk package at Costco. Like, not to get like too deep into that, but this is why talking with an entrepreneur friend is fun, because like all I hear is like a lot of W-2 complaints, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that used to be me. And I'm not saying these people are less than. It's just more along the lines of you should, like, there's a part of it that's like, you're lucky you have that. Like, could you imagine if you didn't? Like, well, then I would leave. I'm just like, all right, cool, leave, go do something else.
Yeah. And that's my advice for everyone. Quit your job, start a business.
Quit.
Yeah. This is my hot take. I hate LinkedIn and I hate everything about it. That's my hot take.
Dude, I just saw someone today, and it's this dude who's job hopped to a bunch of different places. He has a ton of followers. Everybody loves him. He's really, really funny, but he's job hopped. Like he hasn't held a job for longer than a year and a half. And I've started to realize it's probably because he sucks at his job. He gets in on his personality, and then they realize like, oh, you don't know how to do this thing. Conflict arises, then he just goes to the next job. He has a huge following, so it's way easier to get hired when you have a huge following. And today he was complaining about like all those businesses that got easily funded back in 2016 to 2020, like before COVID happened. I'm more impressed with companies that have started now. And I'm just like, you've never started a company, dude, so shut the fuck up. Just like you criticizing people who started businesses, yes, got a lot of seed funding, a lot of venture capital money, and then have become successful. Like you just be like, oh, that's easy. I'm like, you've never done anything, man. You've done literally nothing. Shut the fuck up. Sorry, I don't know why I got so. I really don't like this guy. So like, there's like this part of me that's
really,
yeah. This part of me is just like, oh my God. And people like this stuff. I'm just like, how am I taking crazy pills? Anyways.
No, that's why I hate LinkedIn, because it's an echo chamber of just platitudes and those like, know what it is to me? I'll tell you what it is. It's the no fear t-shirt of social media. The ones are like all those stupid sayings on the no fear t-shirts. Like, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, which is a great quote. But like, that's what it reminds me of. Everyone just posts those stupid quotes, these inspirational quotes, as if that's all you need to do in order to be successful. Here's the secret. You actually have to start doing and do something. Yeah. Just talking about it and like and then don't get me started about like the words of affirmation, how bullshit that is. Like if it was that easy, everyone would be a billionaire. So I'm like, I want the earth to gift me $1 billion and it will come, because it's just like, that's not how it works. It's not reality. It's not how it's going to work. You have to bust your ass. Look at any billionaire, any super successful person. None of them were just posting on LinkedIn about, you know, their favorite words of affirmation or their favorite work quotes. They were out hustling, getting shit done, and now they're really successful. And then it's always like, well, they got really lucky, which is my other favorite quote, is like, I find the harder I work, the luckier I get. And that was very true with every business that I've ever been a part of. The harder you work in it, the luckier that you get. And it's more just like you just set yourself up for those opportunities when they do come along, because you have worked so hard to get to that point. But yeah, fuck LinkedIn.
So what we just what we just gave as an example are two entrepreneur friends talking to one another about entrepreneurship and complaining about things. So if you're wondering what kind of conversations those people are having, they're very similar to this. I
Yes.
have, I have my last one, and if there's
And
other ones that
fuck
you think
workman's
of,
comp.
uh,
It's a scam, giant scam.
number
Sorry,
6,
keep going.
what's going to be the most sad is I bet you will talk the least about this because we talk the least about positive things. It's like, well, what else would you fix about this? But people who genuinely care and want you to succeed. I think there's like, this is going to be like my spouse. I'm sure your spouse. I'm sure your kids
Yeah.
as they get older. I'm sure you have other friends. Like I have friends who like, that I can tell how I know. They usually give me referrals. And they say, hey, this person has this thing. I know they don't have that much money to spend, but like, could you talk to them about this, and this? And I just absolutely love and adore those people. My advice for dealing with these types of people is get as many of these people in your life as possible, because if you have your entrepreneur friends who are probably going to be honest with you, and then you have the people that are just it's like Vic Vinegar and Hugh Honey from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So you have your Vic Vinegar entrepreneur friends who are going to like keep you on reality. Then you're going to have your friends who just want you to succeed. They're just like, go do it. Get as many of those, get as many as those two types of friends as possible.
And in all honesty, that's probably all the friends that I have. Like I've gotten rid of all the net negative friends a long time ago, and I would genuinely know that my friends that I associate with now are happy when I'm doing well. For many reasons. I mean, because real friendship, they should want you to be successful because it's going to make you happy, and you should want your friends to be successful and happy as well. In whatever venture, whether they're starting a business or not, whether it's in their 9-to-5 job or whatever it is. If I have a friend that gets a promotion, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, that's awesome. Good for you. I know you worked your ass off to be able to get that promotion. I'm not like, oh, you got a promotion? Well, you got to fucking quit your job and you got to start a business. It's never like that. It's just like, if they're interested in starting a business, I love to help them with that. But just celebrating wins on any level is always a good thing. And this is probably just goes back to just like being a good human in general. But yeah, I would say I don't have any friends that are secretly hoping that I fail. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Like, maybe it's because there isn't as much advice to give on this one. It's just get as many of these types of people as possible. All of the other ones, like there are specific things that you may have to do, whether it's distancing yourself, conversations that you have, setting boundaries. I hate that word, but having those types of conversations with other people. With these people, talk with them as much as possible. And like Aaron said, he's essentially pruned off all the other types and primarily just has the entrepreneurship friend and the person who really wants you to succeed. So I wish we could talk more about this, but that's all I got. That's all I got is get as many of those as possible.
And fuck LinkedIn.
And workman's comp and unions. What else? How else could we upset
and
the
don't get me started about the post office.
What else can we say to piss off the working man? Oh gosh. So military. Just want to throw. I was just kidding. I'll just make sure I apologize right now. I was just kidding. I don't think that we are better than you. And then also to the working man, blue collar. We love you so much that we started this company so you could get even more out of those skills that you have. All right. Well, let's go over to life and business advice. All righty. So today we got a couple of. Thanks for submitting your questions, everybody. We'll just hop right into it. Remember to send your questions when you have them. Honestly, put them in the comments in YouTube, or you can email us at unsexybusinessmen@gmail.com. All right. So we have two today. I'll let Aaron choose. Do you want to do a career-related one first or a business-related one first? We got one of each today.
Let's do career first.
All right. Boss asked why I gave employee a raise. Hi, unsexy businessmen. Hello. I don't own a business, but I've been thinking about, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about it, I think, ever since an interaction I had with my boss. I'm a mid-level manager, do pretty well financially, and I manage a team of account managers. About 2 years ago, we changed the minimum salary range for account managers, and I came into my new position about 3 months ago. When going over the salaries of my team members, one of them was making 10,000 below our salary minimums. I thought this was a clerical error, so I reached out to our HR team and asked them to bump his pay to the minimum. This team member has been in the position for over a year. The HR person?
No, the person that he gave a raise
Okay,
to. I'm
so
assuming.
I thought it was only fair to increase ASAP. Yep. Fast forward one day, and my and my boss calls me into the office and says, "Why'd you give me redacted team member? Why'd you give X person a raise?" I explained he made below the minimum we agreed to 2 years ago, and my boss responded, he, the team member, didn't know what the minimums were. People will work for what they will work for. I didn't know how to respond, so I haven't. I just went, okay, sorry, and he gave me some more advice, and the conversation ended. What do I do? Am I crazy? Or is this just what I should expect moving forward?
I mean, this, I guess, goes to what we say all the time. Companies don't care about you at all.
That's
This
insane.
isn't, dude, is this real? Like, I can't imagine, like, why did you give him a $10,000 raise? Like, because it's our company's policy that they have a certain amount of money. And I was adhering to that policy. What are there other policies that I don't need to be adhering to? How are we with the sexual harassment policies? Can we kind of bend the line on that as well? Like, it's like, what are you talking about? If you set this precedent of you don't have to adhere to the company's policy, you could apply that to anything within the company. Yeah, this is insane.
This is a
I would
crazy
just say
one,
that.
right?
That's what you said was correct. And if your boss is bad about it, I'd be like, well, I thought it was the right thing to do. No, like, no, it was you don't say, I think it was the right thing to do. The company's policy is this. I'm a company man, and so I'm going to do whatever the company says. Yeah, your boss is insane.
Yeah, I think the only advice I have on this is, like, you have a really bad boss. Good luck. You were going to have to deal with it. Like, I think you even said here, or is this just what I should expect moving forward? Yes, this is what you should expect moving forward. I don't like, my advice is, if you don't like that, if that felt bad, get out as soon as possible. What I'm going to suggest is a risk, so please be careful, or go and talk to the person above that person. I think that's a huge risk that is only going to have negative consequences for you, as like being able to grow into the future. So my suggestion is probably quit, or you're just going to have to toe the company line until this guy's gone.
I would just, I mean, in the short term, just say it's the company policy, and so I did what is stated in the company policy.
Fair. Yeah, if this comes up again, because it sounds like this conversation happened, and if he brings it up again as like a reason why you're bad or something like that, you're just going to have to say, no, I did the right thing. I'm sorry.
Right. Sorry, not sorry.
That was a nice, easy one, though. Yep.
Yeah.
You're not crazy. Your boss is. Okay.
Welcome to corporate life.
Outsourcing marketing how-to. Hey, unsexy businessmen. Hey. I've been running my small septic removal business for a few years now. Congratulations. It's steady, but it hasn't really grown the way I hoped it would. The business makes enough to reinvest, so I've started looking for experts who can help in areas outside my skill set. So far, I've tried outsourcing a couple of things. SEO, spent a few thousand on it, but it didn't see any real return. I'm beginning to realize that SEO promises might not be as straightforward as they sound. A Google Ads consultant hired someone and ran ads for a few months, but again, no ROI. Now I'm stuck wondering, what type of expert do I actually need? Do I look for a general marketer? The word feels vague. I don't know if that's really the right move, or if I should be looking for someone more specialized in a particular marketing niche. I know septic work inside and out, but I've learned that being great at the service doesn't guarantee success. The marketing side is just as critical, and that's where I want to invest smarter. Would love to hear from the unsexy businessmen. Any advice or direction would be appreciated. Thanks. I'll hit this one really quick for you, dude.
Yeah, I was like, I'll let you.
It's all going to come down to if you have time. So you're a septic, so you're very locally based. I will give you something that is in our course for free right now. Get as many fake locations as possible and get as many reviews to those locations as possible as well. That solves your organic side of things. if you're a local company, do not hire anyone to do SEO for you. That is like, we're going to optimize your landing pages. We're going to write blog content for you. You don't need that unless you plan on expanding beyond your area. Like, and when I say expand, I mean like nationally beyond your area. So remember that. Get three to four, depends on how big your area is, close to population centers that are far away from your competitors or farther away from your competitors. Step one. Step two, see if they have Google local service ads for that. Just turn that on and let it run. Boom, you're done. Marketing checked off for you. I'm sure there are other things that you can be doing, but like based on the situation that you're in, dude, you're not going to find anybody. You will not find anybody that is going to be worth the amount of money that you invest, because you're only going to be able to invest, my guess, $500 to $1,000, maybe $3,000 with the ad spend. So you're kind of stuck, either doing this yourself, finding a friend who will do it. But we talked about it on today's episode. Like, your friend shouldn't give you a discount to do this. So there's my thoughts. Try doing it by yourself with the advice that I just gave you. And then if you like want to look for someone, it's going to be better to make a hire, someone who is like accountable to you, than it is to hire an agency or someone who's like, all right, cool, you're just another brick in the wall. Great. Here's another $800, $800. Thoughts?
And here's my shameless plug of the podcast. Go buy the course and watch the section where Alex talks about all of this in great detail. And that's going to save you a lot of money. It will literally be a fraction of what you've probably already spent on finding. And I do, or gal, whoever this is, I can't remember the name. I'm just whatever. Probably as a guy, it's dealing with septic tanks. Anyway, but maybe it's a woman. But anyway, I made the same mistake of hiring an SEO company, and only to find out that they didn't do anything when I had Alex help me with SEO, and spent thousands of dollars needlessly. It would have been nice to have like some sort of course I could have bought and that was straightforward and walked you step by step on how to set up all the things that Alex just talked about. And that would have been great. So that's my shameless plug. If you're really interested in learning like the step-by-step process of doing that, more so of what Alex just went over, go check the course out. It's again, it's so reasonably priced. There's no reason, especially if you're doing well with your business, that you wouldn't want to invest in yourself and in your company by taking a look at that.
Right. I know there's no numbers in this, but I guarantee you've spent thousands of dollars already. And the advice I just gave you, and like Aaron said, if you go and watch the step-by-step how to set up these business profiles, you are going to save thousands of dollars. Not just save money, but you'll start making a lot of money too, because it's a strategic way of setting up your location so that you are essentially, it's almost like, maybe I shouldn't be giving this away. It's like turf wars. Like essentially Google business profile is like drug turf. You know, once again, got to get our drug reference in. Been watching a lot of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad lately. You have to like, all right, this is your area competitor. This is my area. And if you can get to a higher population center, it's going to be really good for you. But there's way more detail in our course. So absolutely go get the course. Any other advice that you have, Aaron?
Don't pay somebody to do it. I know we just talked about this. Do not pay somebody to do it for you.
Like, and as someone who's like a marketing, one, they don't like working with people that have small budgets. And so like they're inevitably going to do less for you. And two, there are good people out there who will do really, really great work for you at that low cost. But that's like finding a diamond in the rough, needle in the haystack, whatever small object in large sea of things. Like if you find someone like me, you know it's going to be good. I don't want your business. If you find someone like me who has my personality type, they will bend over backwards to ensure you start seeing results.
Right.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure. Everyone have a wonderful rest of the week. And if you have any questions, remember you can send those questions to UnsexyBusinessmen@gmail.com, and we will get those answered for you on future podcasts, especially if they're great questions. And talk to you later. Thank you for listening to the Unsexy Businessmen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Now go get to work.